Have you ever wondered why everything feels so heavy, even when nothing seems wrong on the outside? You wake up tired, you go through the motions, you smile when you're supposed to, but inside something feels off. You carry a weight no one sees. It presses on your chest when you're alone. It whispers at night when the world is quiet. And maybe you've started to believe the lie that something must be broken inside you. But what if you're not broken at all? What if you're just tired? Tired of surviving alone. You've held it together for so long. You've pushed through pain. You've smiled through silence. You've been strong for everyone else, while no one noticed how much you needed someone to be strong for you. You've become a master at pretending, a professional at hiding how much it hurts. But pretending takes energy. Hiding takes strength. And after a while, even the strongest feel the weight of pretending to be okay. That's not weakness. That's the cost of surviving without support. You were never meant to do life alone. Humans are built for connection, for comfort, for being seen, for being understood. When those things are missing for too long, your mind and heart begin to wear down. You start to question your worth. You wonder if maybe you're just too much or not enough. But listen carefully, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're just carrying pain you were never meant to hold alone. And the truth is, it's not your fault. Somewhere along the way, life taught you to stop asking for help. Maybe help never came. Maybe trust was broken. Maybe you learned to become your own shelter because no one else offered you one. That's not weakness, that's survival. That's resilience, that's courage. But surviving is not the same as living. And now you're not failing. You're just running out of strength. Not because you're weak, but because you've been strong for too long without rest. The reason this matters is because once you realize you're not broken, you can stop fighting yourself. You can begin to heal. You can stop blaming yourself for being tired and start giving yourself the grace to rest. That's the emotional reward waiting for you. Relief, lightness, hope, and beyond that, connection. You're not the only one who feels this way. You're not the only one silently hurting. And when you understand that, you stop feeling isolated. You start feeling human again. Stay with this, don't look away, because what you'll find next isn't more pain. It's freedom. It's a chance to breathe again. A chance to see yourself not as someone who's failing, but as someone who is finally ready to feel alive, not just survive. You've made it this far. You didn't give up, even when no one saw your struggle. That matters. You matter. And this might just be the beginning of everything you've been waiting for. You've been conditioned to believe that your thoughts are proof something is wrong with you, that the constant overthinking, the sudden waves of sadness, the inability to rest peacefully at night must mean you're broken inside. But they're not signs of brokenness. They're signs of survival. Your mind hasn't betrayed you. It's protected you. It built walls when you couldn't afford to feel. It shut down emotion when emotion felt unsafe. It analyzed every situation because it was trying to keep you out of danger. What looks like dysfunction is actually defense. Your brain learned how to survive long before you had a choice. Think about how many times you silenced yourself, how often you told yourself, it's not that bad, or I just need to be stronger. That wasn't weakness. That was survival instinct. When support wasn't available, your mind took over. It did the only thing it knew: minimize, avoid, suppress. It wasn't trying to hurt you. It was trying to save you. The anxiety, the detachment, the emotional shutdown, these aren't flaws. They're responses. Natural, automatic responses to unnatural circumstances. You weren't meant to carry pain like that alone, but you did. And your mind did its best to help you make it through. Now you're here, listening, feeling, or starting to understand. And that's powerful, because once you stop seeing your patterns as failures, you can begin to see them as signals. Your body and mind are trying to tell you something. They're not saying you're not enough. They're saying you've been through too much. They're asking for care, not correction, for safety, not shame. That's the shift. That's the start of healing, when you stop fighting yourself and start listening to what your pain is trying to say. You are not the chaos in your head. You are the awareness rising behind it. You are not your fear. You are the one who notices it. And once you recognize that, everything changes. You stop reacting. You start choosing. You stop hiding. You start understanding. This is not about fixing who you are. It's about reconnecting with who you were before life taught you to disconnect. The real you is still there, quiet, patient, waiting for the noise to settle, and it will, because now you're not trying to run anymore. You're learning to listen. This journey is not about becoming someone else. It's about reclaiming the parts of you that were pushed aside just to survive. That is strength. Not the strength to hold it all together, but the courage to let yourself fall apart and rebuild with compassion. You've already done the hard part. You've survived. Now it's time to live. Time to breathe without fear. To rest without guilt. To feel without shame. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. And right here, right now, you are. That matters. That's enough. That's the beginning of everything new. You've carried the weight in silence for so long that even the idea of reaching out feels foreign. You've convinced yourself that if you ask for help, it means you're weak, that needing someone makes you a burden. But that belief didn't come from truth. It came from a world that taught you to admire strength, but never explained what strength really looks like. Real strength is not suffering in silence. It's having the courage to say, I can't keep doing this alone. It's allowing yourself to be seen, not as perfect, but as human. Somewhere along the line, you learned to hide your pain to keep peace, to swallow your voice just to be accepted. You kept showing up for others while disappearing in your own life. But no one can thrive in isolation. No one was made to carry emotional battles behind a mask. You were not born to be a shadow of yourself. You were meant to feel, to connect, to express. And still, you pushed it all down because you thought that's what survival required. But you don't have to keep surviving. You can choose to live. And living means letting people in, even if it scares you. It's okay to be cautious. It's okay to feel afraid. Trust might feel impossible when your history tells you that vulnerability leads to pain. But connection is the medicine you've been craving. You don't need 100 people to understand you. You just need one. One safe space. One moment of being heard without judgment. One chance to speak and not be silenced. You deserve that. Not because you've earned it, but because you're human. You've fought so long just to be okay, and now maybe it's time to fight for more than that. For wholeness, for peace, for the kind of strength that doesn't wear you out, but builds you up. You don't need to do everything alone. You were never meant to. Asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's recognizing that life gets heavy, and we all need hands to lift us sometimes. There is no shame in needing support. The shame only grows in silence. Let yourself believe that it's safe to be seen, that your story, no matter how messy, is still worth hearing. Let yourself imagine what it would feel like to let go of the armor, to breathe without pretending, to feel held not just by others, but by the truth that you matter. You are not invisible. You are not a burden. And your pain does not disqualify you from love. It simply proves you've been strong alone for too long. Now is the time to rewrite what strength means. It's not isolation. It's not endless endurance. It's connection. It's honesty. It's the brave decision to no longer suffer in silence. You don't have to earn your way back to being enough. You already are. And every step you take toward connection is a step out of survival and into something far more powerful, life itself. There comes a moment when you realize the fight isn't outside you, it's inside. The battlefield isn't the world around you, it's the voice within. That voice that tells you to shrink, to doubt yourself, to stay quiet. It's been shaped by years of rejection, by moments of being unseen, by silence that echoed louder than words. And now it lives in your mind, whispering that you're not ready, not good enough, not worth it. But just because a voice is loud doesn't make it true. Just because it's familiar doesn't mean you have to obey it. You have the power to challenge the noise, to speak back, to choose a different thought. It starts small, a single breath of awareness, a moment of pause before you believe the worst about yourself again. This is how change begins. Not with a roar, but with a whisper that says, what if I'm not broken? That tiny question has the power to unravel years of shame. And with every new thought, you weaken the chains that held you in survival. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real. The real you. Beneath the fear, beneath the pressure, beneath the false identity you built just to be accepted. That real version isn't loud. It's not desperate for approval. It's calm, steady, present, and it's been waiting for you to return. You don't need to hustle for your worth. You don't need to prove you deserve love. You just need to show up for yourself every single day with honesty and compassion. The most powerful transformation happens when you stop trying to escape your pain and start turning toward it with kindness. Not to indulge it, but to understand it, to see it not as weakness, but as evidence of everything you've survived. When you begin to treat your wounds with care instead of criticism, healing begins. You no longer define yourself by your damage. You begin to reclaim your strength. You've been told that healing is a straight line, but it's not. It's a messy, winding process. Some days you'll rise, some days you'll fall, but every step is movement. Every breath is progress. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be to begin again. And beginning again is not failure. It's power. It means you're still in the fight, still willing to try, still open to more than just surviving. What if you gave yourself permission to rest without guilt, to feel joy without fear? What if you believed, even for a moment, that you are worthy of softness, of comfort, of peace? That belief is where everything shifts, not because life gets easier, but because you stop making war with yourself. You start choosing love over fear, grace over pressure, truth over noise. And in that choice, you discover the most powerful truth of all. You were never broken. You were becoming. Growth isn't always loud. It doesn't always feel like progress. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion, like pulling yourself out of bed when everything in you wants to give up, like facing another day with a heavy heart but still showing up anyway. That's not failure. That's strength in its rawest, realest form. You've already proven your resilience by surviving what once felt impossible. You've already walked through fire and made it out breathing. That deserves more credit than the world ever gave you. So many wait for permission to rest, to slow down, to simply feel. But the truth is, you don't need permission to heal. You just need honesty, the kind that tells you it's okay to stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. The pain you've held is not who you are, it's what you've been through. Your tiredness isn't weakness. It's the echo of all the energy you've spent trying to hold yourself together when no one else knew how much you were breaking inside. That kind of emotional labor is invisible but powerful. It shapes you, it deepens you, and it reminds you that your tired soul is not broken. It's been too strong for too long without relief. You were never supposed to do this alone, and now you don't have to. It's not selfish to choose peace. It's not wrong to release the constant need to prove yourself. You are not your productivity. You are not your pain. You are not the version of you that kept pretending everything was fine just to make others comfortable. You are the quiet strength beneath all the noise. You are the hope that never fully gave up, even when the darkness felt endless. That part of you, the part that still believes in more, is your truth. Let yourself fall into that truth. Let it hold you. Let it remind you that slowing down isn't quitting. Rest is not weakness. It is repair. It is rebuilding. It is a sacred act of self-love. When you stop shaming yourself for being tired, you begin to understand just how hard you've been trying. And that awareness, that moment when you recognize your own effort, can be life-changing. It shifts the way you speak to yourself. It softens the pressure. It invites compassion in. You deserve to feel light again. You deserve to feel safe within your own skin. But that begins with choosing to stop running from yourself. It starts when you stop blaming your exhaustion and start honoring it. Your tiredness is not a flaw. It's a sign that you've given so much of your energy to survive. Now it's time to use that same energy to rebuild, not from fear, but from love. Not to become someone new, but to come home to who you've always been. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to carry the weight of being invincible. You just have to keep breathing, keep believing, and trust that healing is not a destination. It's your return to wholeness. There is power in choosing yourself, not in a selfish way, but in the kind of way that says, I matter too. You've spent years putting your needs last, years making space for others while abandoning your own heart. But you're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to exist without apology. You don't have to shrink to fit into other people's comfort zones. You were not made to be invisible. You were made to rise, to speak, to become all that you were meant to be. That version of you still lives inside, the one who dreamed without limits, the one who believed in more. And now it's time to reconnect with that inner fire. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of peace. You don't need to earn rest, love, or healing. Those are your birthrights. Somewhere along the line, you learn to tie your value to your performance. But you are not a machine. You're a human being with a beating heart and a tired soul that longs for more than just survival. That's not weakness, that's awareness. And awareness is the first step to awakening. Let go of the guilt that tells you to keep pushing when your body is crying out for pause. Let go of the lie that says being tired means you're falling behind. You're not falling behind. You're finally slowing down enough to hear what your heart has been trying to say all along. You need love. You need rest. You need connection. You need space to breathe, to feel, to heal. These needs don't make you needy. They make you real. This world glorifies hustle and shame, stillness. But real transformation happens in the quiet, in the moments when you choose grace over pressure, in the moments when you stop judging yourself and start listening. Listen to what your soul is asking for. Not what the world demands, not what your past expects, but what your spirit truly craves. That's where your freedom lives. That's where your energy returns, not in more doing, but in more being. You are allowed to be a work in progress. You are allowed to be both healing and hurting, both strong and struggling. These things are not contradictions. They are signs that you are alive, evolving, growing. You don't have to wait until you're completely healed to live your life. Start where you are. Use what you have. Be who you are now, not some future, more polished version of yourself. The world doesn't need a perfect you. It needs a real you. There is no finish line to reach before you deserve peace. You deserve it right here, right now, as you are. Let that truth settle into your bones. Let it wash over every place that still feels broken. You're not broken. You're becoming whole, slowly, gently, with every breath, with every tear, with every moment you choose yourself again. You return to the truth. You are enough. You always were. And now you finally remember. You've been strong for so long that breaking down feels like failure, but it's not. Breaking down is honest. It's the body's way of releasing what the heart can no longer carry. And sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is allow yourself to feel it all, without judgment, without shame. You're not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You're not lost because you're tired. You're human. And this is what being human looks like sometimes. Messy, complicated, emotional, raw. But inside that mess, there's something powerful, truth. And truth is the beginning of freedom. You don't need to pretend to be okay anymore. You don't have to wear the mask that hides your exhaustion. You don't have to hold everything together when everything inside you is asking for rest. You've done enough. You've held enough. You've proven enough. Now it's time to soften, time to let go of the pressure that keeps telling you to be more, do more, fix more. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a life to be honored. Every scar, every tear, every moment you kept going when you had every reason to quit, it all speaks to the strength you've already shown. You deserve gentleness, not just from the world, but from yourself. Talk to yourself like someone you love. Show up for yourself the way you show up for others. Stop waiting for someone else to save you. The rescue begins within. It starts with your choice to believe that your value isn't tied to how much you endure, but how deeply you live. And real living begins with letting yourself breathe without guilt, rest without fear, feel without apology. You were never meant to carry life's weight alone. You were never meant to be your own source of love, strength, and healing all the time. You are allowed to need support. You are allowed to lean. You are allowed to reach, and even if you don't have anyone right now, even if it feels like you've been forgotten, your healing still matters. Your growth still counts. Your existence still has meaning. Start by reconnecting with the part of you that still hopes. That small but steady voice that hasn't gone silent. It's still there, under the noise, under the doubt, under the exhaustion. That's your fire. That's your truth. It's what's kept you alive this long. It's what's pulled you through every dark night and lonely morning.